We had a good day yesterday in the chat room, so hopefully you guys made out and things were okay for you. So today we have our SPY pretty much flat for the most part. I'm gonna remove the list that we had here yesterday, and then we're gonna look at our gappers list, which today seems to be a little smaller than usual, so that's good.
I this is refreshing, I gotta say.
Yeah, things are not scrolling all the way down to the bottom here. We got a decent amount of numbers. Hopefully, the stuff in here though is good, so we'll get into that. But first, let's get to the market pulse, see what's going on there. Norm, give us an update on any possible news happening today or anything we should be aware of.
Yeah, so right now we're gapping up just 0.4% roughly, which is, as I mentioned yesterday, I think we were gapping about 0.25%. It's nice to have these days where it's not just a crazy, crazy gap to start. Still decent volume on the SPY. SPY's traded at just over 1.5 million shares so far today. As far as economic data, we've got durable goods orders and core capital goods that came out right when we were coming on the air. Have not seen those numbers yet. I'll be looking forward to seeing the consumer sentiment index at 10 a.m. Consumer driven economy, or at least it was until we shut the whole thing down. So it'll be quite interesting to see where that sits and see how much pent up demand there is for when people are free to go about their lives again. We talked about, if you go back on the SPY to last spring and summer on a daily chart, you will see this range that we talked about so many times, 273-ish in a bottom, and then there was a 280-ish to 293 range that we bounced back and forth between for quite some while, repeatedly over and over and over. We were right there at that strong level of 280. We flirted with it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. So it's make or break here. I think, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, if you look at all the pontificators on FinTwit and everywhere else talking about this is just the beginning, it's going to break down. Everybody's predicting some sort of apocalypse. This is where it would need to happen if that was going to be the case. And I'm not saying one way or the other. I've kind of made my feelings known what I think is going to happen, but that's just whatever. Just a thought. If it holds this 280, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. It was where we were, just under a year ago, and it should be interesting to see if it holds.
Yeah. So that's a
Obviously, we're still in the middle of earnings season. We got a lot to go here, but should be interesting here.
Yeah, I agree. So much stuff out there about people, speculating what's going to happen, and have heard that a lot. The worst is not. We have not seen the worst of it yet. You see a lot of people kind of mentioning that. So, only time will tell. Hopefully, again, for people, for health wise, hopefully we have seen the worst of it. Right? We don't want no more people going through what they're going through. Obviously, the market is one thing, and actual what's happening around the world is another. So hopefully, we're not getting to the point where it starts getting worse. All right, folks, let's get to our watch list today. We do have a decent list. The gap up list is running up a little bit, so we'll have to see how that's moving today. We'll keep an eye on that. But for the most part, we do have a decent list here. So let's start over with our gapping down. INTC is the only thing gapping down this morning, so we'll take a look at that. INTC. Let's see what we have here. So INTC is down 607,000 shares at the moment. It is trading pretty good. Has a good decent pre-market activity right now, and you can see here we got some pretty good volume on it. So INTC is definitely one that we'll keep on our list here and see what
They
happens there.
reported earnings last night. They actually beat their earnings and their revenues, but their guidance was a little bit concerning. And then also you had yesterday news that Apple's going to be starting to produce their own chips for, I believe, the Mac.
Mm-hmm.
So that hit them a little bit. We'll see. It's interesting. This is another bellwether. I mentioned TX in Texas Instruments earlier this week came out, and that's kind of a bellwether. So is this for the chip stocks that are going to start to semis and chip stocks that are going to start to have earnings come out. So with all the data center usage, with all the people working remotely and everything else, there's going to be some serious demand for this. See how it goes.
All right, excellent. Yep, we'll definitely keep an eye on that, guys, and see what's happening there. So next, what happened to our gappers list here? It went blank. Our gapping up list. Did that happen for anybody else? So let me make sure it's live. Okay, here we go. We got it back. All right, so that's the only thing gapping down this morning. Let's take a look at what's gapping up today. Okay, looks like the screen is frozen on you, Norm. So let me see what we do here. What did you do to our system here? All right, so
It's
just
this freaking beard.
it could be. It could be the beard. It's probably upset that we're still nowhere near 30 here this morning. So it could be that. But let's see here, guys. I'm going to have to
We
refresh
are
here.
in the 30s, though. We are in the 30s. VIX is, my delayed quote says 39, but
All right, guys. Let me just give me 1 second. I'm trying to figure out so you guys can actually see what we're doing here with as far as levels. So give me 1 second.
a lot of you guys have commented on the changes with the graphics and everything. There's a lot more to come, but obviously with that, there are a few growing pains here and there. So
All right, guys, looks like we are back on YouTube. Just want to share the screen with our chat room here. And okay, good. We'll be set to go. You should be able to see my screens, guys. If you don't, let me know, but this should be up and running now. Sorry about that. All right, so we just talked about INTC, guys. Got a great great volume right now, great activity pre-market. It's the only one gapping down this morning. And as Norm mentioned, they have some news today, so we'll keep an eye on INTC. Let's head down to our gapping up list. As you can see, we have quite a bit on here, so let's go through those and see what we have this morning. Let's make some space here in our watch list. And then we'll start over with some of these numbers we're seeing here. So first one on the list, INTC. We'll throw that on there. All right, excellent. Then we have THMO. All right, so THMO. All right, here we go. THMO this morning. Great volume right now, 109. Looks like we're getting some kind of pop out happening at the moment. It is a low flow stock sitting at 4 million shares traded. So I'm going to throw this one down here, guys. This is a low flow stock, so we want to be cautious with this one. Right now, they look pretty active. Let's come back to in a few more minutes, see if this is developing a lot more nicely as we get closer to 9:30. Over the last couple of
I'm
days.
going to say that
Yep.
this is a crazy, crazy pump and dump. They are working on some kind of a plasma antibody therapy for COVID-19 that apparently had a feature story produced and is going out on Fox affiliates this morning nationwide. So I would be very weary of this.
Oh, yeah, it's not something you want to be involved with. And again, 4.4 million shares traded. Somehow, someway has been doing pretty good the last couple of days. But again, it's just not worth our time looking at the stocks that trade like that. Let's look at PSTI. This is another one that has been on our list before in the past. This one is 14.5 million shares float. At the moment, they have a decent pre-market activity, some really good volume. Norm, they're up 18%. So this is quite a bit. Another therapeutic company. What's the deal with these guys today?
Yeah, they're working on a COVID treatment, and they got some additional funding for that. So that's what's kicking PSTI. Once again, low-ish float, low float, 16 million's not quite as low as the three we were just talking about,
Yep.
but same theme.
Okay. All right. So we'll put it down here again. It's not as low flow as 14, so that's more decent than the one that below that. Maybe this could be one that we can watch. That's a cleaner pre-market activity, greater volume, and this one's been around for a bit in our gappers up and down list. So we'll keep an eye on this one for now. APA at the moment. So we have a few of the oil companies here today. APA is gapping up 5.2, so that's nice. We do have a good daily on APA. Doesn't trade well in the intraday for the most part, but the daily right now is looking very interesting, pushing up higher here as it's been making. Yeah, pre-market is looking great too. Yeah, it's got a good, decent pre-market action as well. Some good volume. You know what? I usually do not watch this one, but today will be the day we could watch it. I said that about INO yesterday. I used to do not watch that stock, and man, was it horrible yesterday. Guys, this stock traded like crap. I just want to show you guys what it looked like in the morning. So again, it looked like it was going to break out of this area. I went long in as well with Andrew in this pop. It just had all the signals to break out here, and it just didn't give you that. So hopefully you guys were out as we got out as well, because once we got out, and then again, I mentioned this a couple of days ago. Andrew's great at this. If he's in a position, he's not doing what he needs to do immediately, he's out. And just as we are getting out, look what happens. Boom, the drop. Everybody else followed through. And you can see the drop here. Everybody getting out immediately because everybody's looking at the same thing. If you're here long and you're not breaking out and you start getting to these areas, everybody says, okay, this is not going to work, and you bail out. And you can see the drop here. It tried for a second time, still couldn't break out. And look at then how nasty this thing traded. So again, it did not trade clean at all yesterday. The day before and the day before that one traded perfectly. I guess because I was watching it, I messed it up for you guys. So apologies for that. So INO here is on our list today again. It is up 3.5. So let's take a look at the pre-market action now. 1 million shares traded. It is up 3.3. Again, we had a red day yesterday. Not sure what kind of continuation we can get today on it. We can watch it, guys. Let's take a look at it, see how it gets later on. It's got great volume. Again, it could be a hit or miss. It traded great the day before and the day after that. If you look at the intraday, it's very clean, very nice, some good opportunities. But let's see what it does today. All right, we got some more coming up in our gappers up list right now. MESO, we didn't take a look at that one. MESO, this one, it is up 120%. What is this here? 84 million shares float. Pre-market is looking decent. I mean, this is up quite a bit, guys. We're trading around $7. Today's up at 14 with 1.5 million shares traded. Norm, is there any good news, a catalyst behind this Meso ticker we have this morning?
I'm going to keep an eye on this. It's an Australian company. Usually I stay away from the biotechs, specifically foreign ones, but they're gapping up on news of a high survival rate of patients treated with a therapy they have for COVID. So
Okay.
worth keeping an eye on, see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely worth keeping an eye on this one. It's not a low flow stock neither, so it's not something that it's gonna move a lot today, because you can see the ATR is pretty high right now. The low is sitting at 9, so you still got to be cautious and not treat it somewhat of a riskier stock, but we definitely keep an eye on it. We might put it down here just to know that it's not a regular trading stock that we usually look at. CHK is on this list today. This is Cheesecake Energy. I was gonna say cheesecake.
Chesapeake Energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say cheesecake for a second there.
Chesapeake Energy, Nat Gas Driller.
Yeah, so this one we looked at before. It doesn't trade very well in the intraday, so we're gonna just bypass this one, guys, for now. Norman, unless you have any news.
I'm gonna say something here. So
Yeah.
this company was trading at what, 13 cents or something not long ago. It's had a 200-for-1 reverse stock split.
Wow.
Since then, with the craziness in the oil and gas market earlier this week, and then the rebound in gas, they adopted a poison pill in their corporate governance, and they have also I think you're seeing a short squeeze on this. I think that's what's going on here. We'll see. I mean, right now, sitting in the pre-market, it's not a bad chart, and it's an interesting move and everything else, but it's got a 30-cent spread, roughly 32-cent spread on a $33 stock, which is pretty nasty.
Yeah.
So it might be worth keeping on and see how it gets closer to the open, and depending on how long our list is, since we don't have a ridiculously long list this morning.
Yeah, we do not, and we're going to start getting into some of these other companies that we've been watching for a while. APA, that are always here. Howe is always here. Zoom, Oxy. Again, these are the ones that have been usual suspects this morning. But let's take a look at APA today. Actually, we looked at APA today. Let's look at BYND. Let's look at BYND this morning, see what's going on there. So BYND has been interesting. Had a great day yesterday. We didn't watch it. Let's see how that traded yesterday. So, wow, very clean day. It was quiet. Look at the pre-market action. This is one I believe we looked at, but I took off from my list. But look how clean this traded. Hopefully you guys were watching this and took advantage. That's a nice, pretty excellent pattern there on the 5-minute. Held this level for quite some time. You could tell that was strong. And then look at towards the close, just booming nicely here. So BYND's got a good catalyst behind it. We spoke about that about 2 days ago, I believe, or so. And today they're gapping up nicely, 6.2. Norm, aside from what you mentioned earlier in the week, anything new on BYND?
Yeah, a couple days ago, well, the China news is part of it. Then they've announced that they have a $150 million revolving credit line, which will help them expand. And then Um, it's just the same story that we had been talking about, just the growth in this fake meat segment. So
All right, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one, guys. It has a great pop here from yesterday and a great continuation possibly on BYND. Let's take a look at right. So APH has moved down. Let's look at FCX. FCX this morning, not a great pre-market, guys. We got some volume out of this, 217. This is a foreign stock. Looks foreign the way that the daily's gapping up and down here. Doesn't look all that
no,
clean.
this is no, it's not foreign, but it's a copper miner predominantly, and they
Oh yeah,
operate all over the world. It just trade it. There have been on a couple of occasions where it trades well. Just overall, it's not. They did have earnings this morning. They had a smaller loss than was anticipated for first quarter, but the revenues came in a little bit light. So
gotcha.
mixed news on that one.
Yeah, so at the moment, guys, again, just the pre-market's not looking great, and you can see here it's not the best daily chart. And as Norm mentioned, it's not one that that trades all that well. Yesterday it seemed like it had a pretty decent day, but again, just not anything that exciting. We can come back to if it gets better. We start getting some great pre-market activity here. We start getting a nice flow to it with some decent volume. We can definitely take a look at it again. All right, so we have Oxy. Is anything else here? Gold we usually don't trade, and I think that's all we have in regards to oil companies, right? So we have How this morning. This one is actually looking decent on the daily as well. Pre-market is starting to get going here, starting to break out of 930. Norm, I know this is one you keep an eye on once in a while. Anything great happening with How and Oxy in that area this morning?
Yeah, I mean, oil prices have just been rebounding for a couple of days from their uh, the catastrophic futures collapse earlier this week. So it's up 3.5% roughly this morning, which is helping these out.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at how Oxy is trading. Oxy usually has a little bit more volume, and today we're seeing that they are up 3.1. I think I'll watch Oxy today. Let's keep Oxy on the list. Either one you can go here, guys. Again, they're both popping up nicely, but Oxy seems to have a smoother pre-market activity. And I mean by that is you can see the nice flow on here. Could be because of the slight more volume that they're getting, 341 thousand shares traded at the moment. Let's take a look at IVZ, and then we'll take a look at Zoom. IVZ this morning. We're not seeing anything
Terrible.
all that great. This is not clean day. This is I'm not sure if it's foreign or not, but again, you could tell the daily chart's not all that clean either. Had a huge drop
No, it's
yesterday. Had some sick volume
yeah,
yesterday
no,
too.
it's a U.S. It's an investment management company,
Yeah,
financial management company. It had um, earnings. It also got a downgrade.
yeah. So
It
that's
had
causing a
earnings
nice drop.
yesterday and also got a downgrade this morning. So it's just trash, frankly.
Gotcha. Well, we'll skip on that one, guys. That's IVC. Let's go over to one that's been pretty fun to watch. Zoom. Zoom is breaking out here, guys. Was amazing yesterday. Had a really nice pop. Just look at it here, breaking all-time highs, and now possible continuation. We are up 3.7 on Zoom with 505,000 shares traded, and a great pre-market activity at the moment. Look how beautiful this thing is trading here, creating a nice flow. Hopefully, it can continue to do that. So Zoom is definitely on my list, guys. It was great yesterday. It could be also a good continuation today. Um, Norm,
So the news on
yeah,
that, other than what's going on Zoom, they're being added to the Nasdaq 100, which will mean they'll have to be incorporated into some funds, ETFs, all kinds of stuff like that. So
oh,
that's
that's
part of
good.
what's giving it a pop. The news on this one's somewhat shocking to me because over the last few weeks, we've heard some really negative news about privacy
Yeah.
concerns, companies all over the place, companies, governments not allowing people to use Zoom for work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who was it that just came? Verizon was it that's creating a competition to Zoom or
Yeah,
bought
they're
something?
buying some other
Blue
company. Yeah.
Jeans to be
Mm-hmm.
able to, yeah, to be able to compete in this arena. And this thing's just shrugged it all off. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
more power to them, I guess, if
Yeah.
you can do that well in a bad environment. But
Yeah, whatever they're doing is definitely working. I know even some schools are now. This seems to be a little more permanent. Kids, my daughter might not go back to school. Who knows? They're switching over to Google. So it's a lot of negative stuff on here with this company. So again, it's incredible they're doing this. So it definitely is interesting. All right, so let's go down the list here, guys. So we looked at how INO. Let's look at that one. We have it on our list already. Again, traded so choppy yesterday with amazing volume, guys. 97 million shares traded. So this stock is not afraid to put in some big numbers here. But overall, it was just so choppy and finally went to a nice downtrend. But that open was not clean at all. And this was what was concerning with INO. It could be a hit or miss. The last couple of days here, it traded very well. I guess since we gapped up and gave some back. It tried to break out, but just has such a tough time. Right now, pre-market's got some great volume. As usual, as you can see here, 1.2. We do have a decent pre-market activity here. But again, the pre-market on this stock doesn't matter as much as the open action. Again, the pre-market could be nasty and trade well. It could be clean and trade bad. It's just such a hit and miss stock. So we'll keep an eye on it either way. It had a nice day yesterday here as far as ranging down, giving a pullback because the last few days, man, it's been trading very well, very strong here. So we'll see what we can get out of that one today. Actually, we like that one. We'll keep an eye on that one. Let's look at Roku. Roku's coming in here up slightly. They are up 2.2 this morning, 148,000 shares traded. And as you can see here, the pre-market activity is typical Roku pre-market action. I would definitely want to keep an eye on Roku. It could be very explosive. If you look at their daily, they have a great daily as well. They're consolidating in this area now, right? They kind of stuck within the range between 120 and 130. We'll see what today brings. Any kind of breakout one way or the other can be a good opportunity for us. All right, guys, that covers our gapping up list. Let's start with what you guys are watching this morning. So let's go over here to our chat. And let's see what you guys like. Actually, let's start with the YouTube chat first this morning. See what's going on over here. So we have Netflix. We have EW. So let's take a look at Netflix first. All right, we move some levels here. So Netflix, the volume is pretty light right now. Pretty much consolidating within the highs and lows of the last two trading days. Kind of stuck right in there. Slightly above the previous day close. So I'm not seeing anything all that great on Netflix at the moment. It needs to get going here, so hopefully we can get more volume, but right now it's not one to add on our main list. Let's look at EW, see what's going on there. EW right now, again, no volume, guys, pretty light, unless you're saying EO to something. That this one is not looking all that good. This one looks EO, actually, so we'll skip on that one. INTC, we have Shenzhen, thank you for that. That one is the only one gapping down this morning. We got another one now, EQT. Let's take a look at what that is. Is that the flow?
254,000 shares.
Yeah, we're not looking at this. What is? I can't even type it right. That's how scary that flow is. EQT.
It doesn't even want to see it.
My chart doesn't want to even pull this thing up. So again,
no.
We'll leave this alone, guys. Let me just look at it now. Look at the action. Just stay away from this. All right, what else we have, guys? So we have Guild. Guild was interesting yesterday, right? So yesterday had some weird action. I know some news broke out. Norm, we were talking about it a little bit yesterday. Want to fill us in on what happened with Guild after noon or so?
Yeah, so Guild was up. Obviously, they've got this drug, remdesivir, that is a possible COVID treatment. It had been manufactured for other viruses. I think they used it on Ebola or tried it on Ebola, and they had it in the hopper. So there had been news that it had positive results. Well, all of a sudden, the Financial Times, the FT, dropped a story on it that supposedly leaked from the WHO. That their study showed that it showed no positive effects to the patients in China. And then soon thereafter, the whole SPY just dove after it. And then a few minutes later, it came out that the actual news on it was they had to cancel the study because there weren't enough patients in the study to make it a workable study. So then it bounced and it kind of hovered and, in that spot all day and sold back off. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is
it sounds fishy. That whole thing sounds fishy to me.
Yeah. So something's up. So today we'll see how this plays out. So definitely worth watching, guys. Again, this is a huge drop here, going from 85 in just a couple of minutes, 10 minutes or so. You're down to 76, almost 74. That's a $10 drop if you look at the entire thing here. So again, that's a big drop. We'll see what's going on with Guild. We'll take a look at it this morning so far. Let's take a look at the action on Guild and what we have going on. Pre-market, 328,000 shares traded. We are up slightly here. It looks like it's just above the previous day close, about 1.1 this morning. Again, just kind of, you can see the drop here from yesterday, and we're kind of just hovering here within this price range. So we'll see what comes out of that. We got some good volume out of it, and then let's see how this news is going to play out. All right, let's take a look at some other ones here. RTZ. And we're running a little bit short on time because of our tech issue earlier today, so we'll try to be as fast as possible through these. So RTC right now, guys, not looking great, no volume at all. Let's look at United Airlines, and then we'll look in our chat to see what we have there. So United Airlines right now, pre-market is just not looking all that great, guys. Look how choppy this is. Also, volume is very light. These airlines tend to do a lot more volume than that. The daily is interesting, though. We're getting into an area where you kind of see the higher highs happening on the dips here, right? We've been dropping, kind of have a nice flow here. Here's the bottom again, and then here we're at this point. It can go either way here, guys. We can get a bounce, or if it wants to drop, who knows? United specifically has a lot of news behind it, so look into it. You can see yesterday, 2 days ago, the volume that it traded here, that was on news. So again, I'm not sure, but right now, pre-market wise, not seeing anything great. All right, guys, let's go into our chat, see what we have here. VC, Verizon, let's take a look what's happening there. We were talking about Verizon earlier. So right now, wow, look at their daily, so choppy. I mean, it's bounced back, it's consolidating here. There's a lot of chop happening in their daily. Their pre-market right now, although it looks like it went up a little bit here, now back down towards the previous day, close slightly below it. I'm not seeing anything great on Verizon, and this is one of the stocks that doesn't trade all that clean. Usually these phone companies, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, they don't trade very well, guys, on the intraday. We usually only watch them when they have some news, some significant news behind it. If you notice that, we usually don't keep them. And even then, you can still have some choppiness, even with some news behind it. Let's look at CCL. Let's take a look at that one. Then we'll look at MGM. That one was very active yesterday as well. So CCL, look at CCL. I haven't looked at it in a while. This was fun to trade when the drop was coming down. The pop here gave us a lot of good opportunity with some really good volume. Over the last couple of days, man, just look at this chop. It has found a range. It's getting narrower and narrower, as you can see down here. Today, they're popping up a little bit, slightly over half a percent, 336,000 shares traded, but I'm not sure if we're going to get anything out of CCL today. So again, with that said, I'm not seeing anything I like pre-market wise. Volume is also, this 336 is very, very low for CCL. We're used to seeing some really heavy volume on this stock. Here's MGM. At the moment, not a great pre-market activity. They were somewhat active yesterday. Let's take a look at how they traded here. Again, they had some really crazy volume in the pre-market, but if you see the open, didn't trade all that well. Finally, after an hour or so, it did settle down and give you a nice little move up here. But overall, I'm not seeing anything great on it right now, guys, on MGM. This thing might just chop around. This is one you want to wait for it to hit the scanners. OAS. This is a penny stock, guys. We're not going to look at this, so we're going to just skip right through this. We'll do one more WWE and good old AMD.
Yeah, I'm going to throw one at you after that as well.
Okay. Wow, this is a nice big gap here, 13%. Pre-market is very light right now, only 17. I like it as a possible just because it has a big gap up, but overall, the pre-market is very, very light. So let's see what the deal is with that gap up, what's causing that. And then the good old AMD, and then we'll look at what Norm is having this morning on his end. So good old AMD is down 1%, 790. So I like this volume here. This is great volume.
Yeah, 1-200. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
How's everything?
Oh, good. How's everything going?
Good morning, everybody. It's Peter. So, crazy morning, right? Just because we had some technical issues, just so you guys know, I picked up the YouTube broadcast, and we should be back broadcasting. I'm not sure, Norm, where you left off, if you just wanted to close it out, in case our friends at YouTube are wondering what the heck happened. We can...
Yeah, I see you're not showing a screen. You're just showing the end screen. But just a couple of quick announcements. Dr. Brett Steenbarger and Mike Bellafiore from S&B Capital. Andrew, you've been a big part of setting that up. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Sorry, about which one?
About the Steenbarger Bellafiore success webinar.
Yes. Thank you so much. Is it on YouTube? People on YouTube would see that, yes?
They can't see it, but they're just listening to us right now. They're watching the chat.
I flipped the screen over so they'll see whatever you share in the chat room, Andrew. Sorry, it's up now.
Oh, perfect. In that case, I can actually bring. In that case, I can actually bring the special webinar page. So if you go into our homepage, you can actually see the. So if you go to our homepage, you can actually see the banner that we created for that. So next week, Dr. Brett Steenbarger and Mike Bellafiore from S&B Capital will be joining us, and they want to have a special webinar about how we can actually learn and benefit from trading in a community. Not only trading, in every aspect of life, every endeavor, if you're being part of a community, you can benefit. Especially Mike Bellafiuto is going to talk about how their traders, new traders, actually benefit from the more experienced traders that they have in a prop firm. It's the same thing essentially. A prop firm is also a community, but they're managed and organized by owners of the prop firm. So this is a very interesting topic, and we're going to have that on YouTube live broadcast as well. So if you're not a community member, you can actually see the discussions live on YouTube. The recording won't be available, but it will live next week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the Eastern time. I think it's going to be a good discussion.
For sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, looking forward to see all of you guys.
And that's
so
pretty much that's pretty much all I've got. I guess Carlos is still off. Well, Andrew's going to take a peek at levels in a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the levels myself. So depending on the watch list, I really like Mezzo. The price action on Mezzo is really nice. The float is 85 million shares. For the pre-market level and ESO, I see the 1452 somehow is the top high of the pre-market. There's also 1494 and 1562. So these two potential levels I see. Even in the pre-market, you see the 3 different levels, and that's okay. Sometimes there are very clear levels in the pre-market. It doesn't have to be one only high and low of the pre-market. Same on the way down when you come here. I can see obviously 1329, and it looks like kind of there's another level around 1360 as well. I don't have shares for short with Interactive Brokers, so it's not shortable yet, at least with Interactive Brokers. So I'm looking mostly for going long, but I do like the price action really. On a daily chart, it looks like it's not actually on an all-time high. Back in 2015, we have some levels, so there are sometimes you can adjust the levels based on that. But I think it's going to be a decent trading at the open. See how it goes. That's this Zoom is an all-time high. I really like Zoom as well, as Norm mentioned. But the issue is all-time high. There's really no level except the high of pre-market, which right now is around 177. Let's see how it goes. CHK is also interesting. I like CHK. Again, I don't have shares for short, unfortunately. Is it everything I don't have shares for short? No, it's just so CHK. I don't have shares for short. Gapping up 19%, and the high and low of the pre-market is around 32. Is the low of the pre-market, high of the pre-market somehow around 33.72. If you get the volume, maybe good for opening range breakup. Intel gap down because of the earning last night. The low of the pre-market, I see 55.91. The high of the pre-market looks like a consolidation around 56.33. On a daily chart, we do have this moving average at 55.20. So obviously, this is a level that if it starts selling off, potentially this 200 moving average, you see this level somehow 55.91 is also 3 days ago low. And these moving averages should be marked potentially if you want to go back up. Although it might be unlikely to go up to 58.59. Who knows? Maybe it just pushes back through all of this stuff. But if I want to mark that 57.36 is also potentially a moving average. And there's a mishmash of levels here. But I mean, the next obvious level is this one. I think 53.18. This 53.18 here potentially. If we sell through 55.20, we can always come down to 53.70. Something that interesting about Intel, it was gapping down 8% yesterday, but now it's actually coming back up to 5%. So it might actually stay strong. Who knows? Because in the pre-market it really sold off yesterday, in the post-market, and now it's just coming back up. That is what I really like so far. Beyond is also interesting. I don't know, depending on what other stocks we want to have in our watch list. Beyond is interesting as well. Dropping up 6.5%. beyond we traded in the past a lot. So if you want to look into that, the next important level is this moving average at 113.65, which can go beyond average to range is $6.35. That's a very important number we want to have because the stock means it actually can move $6. One average, but sometimes it can go even higher. So there is a possibility that we hit 113 even for today. So it's relevant. And if you want to come back around this level, yeah, there's no obvious level here. And go back a little bit more time. That's it. Yeah, beyond this recent IPO, yeah, maybe this level is also this gap back in last year in summer. Yeah, so that's a beyond. What about other stuff? I think it's going to be AMD is going to be on my watch list as well. AMD could be a sympathy play, but AMD has been in play for the last couple of, it's near all-time high. Again, one of those stocks that market is gapping down, but it's generally might go back to all-time high. I'm going to hold into that. The low of the pre-market is obviously around 55, 54.97. This is just a very obvious level that we have gapped down. Yeah, so that's going to be my watch list. OSTK, if you want to go back to more lower price, yeah, no, OSTK is too lower price for me. I'm not going to look into that. And that is pretty much it. INO, I don't want to look into that. Snap, I don't want to look into that. CCL, if you take a quick look at CCL, doesn't seem that has anything. As you see, CCL has been really stuck in this range. If it goes, yeah, there's not a lot of activity on CCL. I don't know if I want, maybe it can be a secondary watch list, really. What about you, Brian? What are you watching?
Yeah, I'm just putting my watch list together right now. I'm going to watch Intel and Meso, just like Thor is. I am going to watch. I think I will watch OSTK. Just keep an eye on that one. I'm going to watch Roku and Zoom maybe, and Square also.
Oh, Square. How's the Square doing?
Square's not doing much. The market's kind of just chopping around here right now. I am going to watch INO. INO looks like it's might be, but it was pretty choppy at the open yesterday.
INO in the last couple of days we traded, it really was choppy.
Yeah. Yeah, Beyond kind of looks interesting. It's up a lot today. And AKER traded that, swung that overnight. Just sold some of it a few minutes ago.
Which one? Sorry?
It was AKER. It was just
nice. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about it into the close. It took some. So I've sold some already.
OAS, the penny stocks. The penny stocks are doing some stuff, but nothing crazy about them. Meso is the lowest price that we have. All right, so I think I'm gonna put my watch list here. It's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Let's see if you can actually survive or not. That's gonna be my watch list. Pretty much similar to Brian, but Brian is looking at Roku and Beyond as well. And CHK. And beyond, yeah, I'm just putting it on a different chart, getting ready. Beyond and zoom. Oh. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, that's seems very interesting to me.
Yeah.
SPY is popping higher right now. It's trading at 280. Yeah, I'll be back in a second. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Amazon's up again today. Another 18, 19 bucks.
Maybe we'll just say, and good morning, Brian. It's Peter.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. Just for everybody on YouTube, we apologize for the technical issues. Carlos will be back tomorrow morning, hopefully, or not. I guess that's Monday. He's got
Not
all
tomorrow.
weekend to get his computer working. Although he didn't know what day it was all week, and he's apparently infected me. So maybe he will be on tomorrow morning. Who knows? Yeah, so we've got our gappers list. You can see we're watching some similar stuff. Hopefully you will join us again next week. Be sure to trade safe out there. As Carlos would always say on a Friday, what does he say? You want to make sure you follow your rules because you don't want to go into the weekend kicking yourself all weekend that you broke your rules and it resulted in a loss and some unexpected results. So trade safe. Be careful out there, guys. And we will talk to you in the afternoon, 3:30. Brian and myself and Mike are always back on the microphone to take you through the close. And then again, Monday morning. So take care, everyone. Have a safe day.
Right on.